Are we on Facebook now, Brother Lee?
Yes, now, yes.
Good evening, Bhante and all Kalyana Mita Sukhi Hontu. I'm Aliana and welcome to Sutta Discussion Day 58 by Bhante Dr. Gango Dawila Chandima. Tonight's class is the ninth class of Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, and we are going to continue discussing the middle part about right effort or sammāvāyāma. Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta is the fifth sutta from the total of 10 suttas that have been chosen by Bhante Chandima for this sutta discussion. For those who have missed our previous classes, please check on Ti-Ratana Vihara Amapadana Plank Facebook page and YouTube channel. We have uploaded the previous 57 classes there. The sutta discussion Zoom class is always open. Therefore, whoever who wish to join the class via Zoom, where we can engage directly with Bhante, can contact us on Ti-Ratana Vihara Amapadana Plank's Facebook Messenger. We are always welcoming newcomers. Our speaker, Bhante Dr. Gango Dawila Chandima, currently is the Senior Advisor at Patisota, Canada, a virtual Dhamma organization that helps beginner as well as expert student in learning Dhamma in variety of ways. Many people are interested in Dhamma Pariyesana, Patisota's most acclaimed interview series, which Bhante conduct on regular basis. You can check on Patisota with the link www.patisota.blogspot.com. Bhante Dr. Gango Dawila Chandima earned his PhD in Buddhist Studies in 2015 from University of Sri Jayawardenepura in Sri Lanka. From 2012 till 2015, Bhante served as Theravada Buddhist chaplain at the University of British Columbia, Vancouver, Canada. And in 2016, Bhante was a research fellow at the Center for Studies in Religion and Society at the University of Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. Without further ado, we welcome once again Bhante, and thank you very much for the wonderful talk. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Aliana. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, Bhante.
Yes. So, welcome back to Sutta discussion, day 58. It's been some time. And the ninth class of Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. So, we have today with us Aliana, Lim, Sita, Sadiris, Kim, Kelvin, Lim, and Jacqueline. I probably think some of this might be joining as we continue. So today we will be discussing about sammāvāyāma. Vayama means effort. So effort can be samma or miccha. That means right or wrong. Even though we apply right for samma and wrong for miccha, but there are things associated with these words. I would say samma could be wholesome and miccha unwholesome. Okay. There are different people who apply different meanings. Some people say beautiful effort, beautiful view, wonderful view. So these carry different connotations. So that is why we simply say right and wrong in this context, but perhaps we can go into, I would say, wholesome or unwholesome. All right, so before we get started, let's pay homage to Buddha 3 times as a respect for the teachings. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu sammā sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu sammā sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu sammā sambuddhassa. So, well, now as I implied last Friday, we are now turning to the Samadhi part, isn't it? So we finished discussing Panya part first. See the Samadhi and Sankappa, they fall into Panya part, wisdom part. And then Samma Vacha, Samma Kammanka, Samma Ajiva fall into Sila part, morality part. And then today we will be starting Samma Vāyāma and then Sati, Samadhi. So they fall into Samadhi part. Samadhi is also a different factor in the Noble Eightfold Path, but here what we understand by Samadhi is what would you call by concentration, wholesome concentration has to work throughout this part starting from now. It's like I would say kind of a speed zone. When you go into the school zone, you have to go under the speed of the school zone, isn't it? Playground, children are playing over there, etc. Speed down, speed up. Highway, you have to maintain your speed. Can't just go too below or too high. Just like that. So you can actually start from the Panya and then go to Sila and then now row into Samadhi part, right? So in the Samadhi part, we start with Vāyāma, Samma Vāyāma. Could you remember that sammāvāyāma is not only a different, I would say it's a new, I would say an individual factor, but also it is a supporting factor to all the other path factors. I would say in order for you to practice Samma-Ditti, do you need Sammā-Vāyāma or not? You need Sammā-Vāyāma. Why? Effort. Without effort, you can't do anything, right? If you treat that this is a conversation of Noble Eightfold Path, if you didn't have effort, you wouldn't have, sit down over there. Sit comfortably, plan the time, Friday, 8:30 p.m., right? So, energy. Remember the story that there was a Brahmin who came up to the Buddha and then started blaming the Buddha, saying that I don't believe in energy, effort, enthusiasm, determination, resolution. I don't believe in any of this, he said to Buddha. So I think what you say is, out of the truth. It's a kind of like not absent from the truth. It is really false, and then there's no something called energy. And then the Buddha said, see, you have really planned before you're coming over to say these words from. That means you had a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of stamina back home. So you were planning to come and tell me all these things, right? So energy, effort, they are existing things in our emotional structure. So Sammā-Vāyāma is a supportive factor. What are the other two supportive factors to the rest of the, or probably to the whole 8 factors? Sammā-Ditti is a mandatory factor that you can't practice any of the factor without Sammā-Ditti, right?
Right.
Second one,
Right.
you need Sammā-Vāyāma for sure. Why? Without Sammā-Vāyāma, you will never be able to practice any of the path practice. Okay. Also, in addition to those two, you need Sammā-Sati, right? Mindfulness. Without right mindfulness, also you cannot catch the places of your path. That means today we are discussing a very important, but differently important factor in the Noble Eightfold Path. First, let me ask you, now in the West, when you talk about energy, now, okay, what is the difference between energy and effort? Can somebody tell me? Any ideas about that? what do you think about the energy? Is there any difference between energy and effort? Now, normally in work ethics, they say it is the capacity to do work, whatever the work you are creating capacity. Let's say you want to study, so you create the capacity. Maybe your time, you invest in your time for that particular work. You engage with other people to make that happen. Now, see, this is a good example for that. So you make time for that. You engage with each other, and you are thinking what to do, and you have a plan. So all that, including this energy part, they basically invest in your emotional structure, energy. And effort is the application of energy. Now you have the energy, and then you need to apply it to whatever the purposes. So that is called the effort. So energy and effort then carry two meanings. So once again, energy means the capacity to do whatever your work. You create the capacity, and that when you create the capacity, then you want to apply those energies into something. It could be wholesome or it could be unwholesome. Now, in the West, as I earlier said, that they have some over estimations about what you call energy or effort, because there is this idea called like hardworking people. You got a hard work. Like, let's say you have lots of energy, effort, but it is not equally treated. It's not treated as something that you carry some spiritual elements in the West. Western thinking is that. So it could be a misunderstood version of Vayama part, sammāvāyāma. So sammāvāyāma is not right energy. Sammāvāyāma is right effort. Make sense? And are there any other places throughout the text, Pali text, where you find these similar words? Now you know there is one word called, I will help you to find it out. Viriya is one Pali word. Viriya. Let me type that for you. Viriya. And then today we have Vaya. Okay, these are two Pali words that relate to today's idea. But the Buddha never says sammā-virya. But virya could be, I would say, energy. Or some other people might have different ideas too about virya in Pali. Virya basically has what you call by enthusiasm, diligence, or kind of stuff. But the Buddha says when it comes to the Noble Eightfold Path, it is going to be vayāma. Vayāma means effort. It's not the simple capacity of the energy or capacity of creating the work for something. It is the application of that energy into a desired problem.
Bhante, can I ask, is it possible a person may not have the energy, doesn't have the energy, very tired, but he wants to make the effort? Does that mean if he don't have the energy, then he will not be able to make the effort? Cannot apply.
Yeah, I like to explain that while we are proceeding, but I just give you an idea. Now, actually here, energy means the mental energy, not just the physical one. So sammāvāyāma is also the mental effort, mental energy, not at the physical level. So we have to take that. So that means even though people are getting very tired, I would say so exhausted, but they can still have the mental energy in different ways, right? So there is no problem. But there may be certain limitations when somebody is so exhausted, having fatigue, so will not be able to practice different things. That's why he said, don't be too late. Don't wait till you get old to practice Dhamma. That's
that's right. That's
There are
right.
people, I want to enjoy my life and do whatever I want. And then when I can't, when I become immobile, okay, Dhamma is my forlorn help, only support. Right. Yes, there are some
Bhante,
people like that.
is
So,
it true that is something said in the suttas? The Buddha mentioned after a certain age you cannot practice Dhamma anymore. Did the Buddha give an age or not?
not to my knowledge.
Because I heard one teacher say, Buddha say age 64 only. After
Uh-huh.
64, very difficult to practice. Is
Oh,
it
really?
true? No.
No, I haven't come across that Buddha is saying that people getting bad with their energy after this certain age level. No, I don't think so.
No, yes,
It depends on each person, right? So don't worry about it. Age doesn't matter when it comes to mental capacity,
Oh,
right?
yes,
But
sir.
there may be certain problems. Let's say when you are very old, there is highly likely a chance you getting the dementia. So problem, inflammation of your neurons. So you won't be able to focus, you forget all the time, dementia, right? So, there are things. That's why we always say, do not just limit Dhamma till you're getting old. And also wanted to say to young adults that do not think that you should practice Dhamma in the way that elderly people practice. You have your own way, you have your own life. Think about it. So we are going a little bit off from our topic. So I just want to say, this is about mental energy. So don't worry about it. All right. So now, as I said to you, now the idea here is that there are a couple Pali words for this topic. Virya is a very famous, what you call Pali word. Virya is also a paramita, a perfection, right? In both Mahayana and Theravada. But Vayama is not a paramita. Virya is a place of practice, but Vayama is an individual practice you have to do to deepen your practice. Here, Virya is a sansaric practice. Okay? So, for those who might not understand these two words, Vayama is effort, but Virya we call energy. So, it has been a sansaric practice if you want to attain Nibbana. So, Vayama is a practice that you do within your life to, I would say, deepen your kusala practice. All right. So when the Buddha talks about sammāvāyāma, he said that sammāvāyāma has to be practiced under 4 headings. Is anybody familiar with this? There are 4 headings, 4 ways to practice right effort. All right. Now, where can we find information for that? Now, in the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, we don't see information about each factor other than their names. I'll show you. Okay, over here. Right. Okay, so you only see the names of the factors, path factors, samadhi, sammasankappa, vacha. So here are Ajiva and Vayama. But if you go to Satcha Vibhanga Sutta, okay, this is the descriptive sutta about the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, which was actually uttered by Arhan Sariputta. We go here. Here. This is the sutta that explains everything about the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta if you want some additional information. All right, let's go here. Okay, it is fine. Katamācāvaso sammāvāyāma. Okay, so I think you wouldn't understand Pali that much at this point. You can see the first is this one. Idavaso bhikkhu anuppannānaṁ pāpakānaṁ akusalaṇaṁ dhammānaṁ anuppādāya chandam janeti vāyamati viriyaṁ ārabhati cittam pagganhāti padami. Okay, this is the first one. Second one start from here. So like that, there are 4 headings. We go here. Yeah, this is actually described very well. But I wanted to give you a very easy way to understand these 4. Okay, I would call it this way: prevention, elimination. I would say prevention, elimination, and maintaining, and I would say deepening. Let me write for you. First one is prevention. Second is elimination. Third is maintaining, maintenance actually. Maintenance. All right. So the Buddha asks us to practice sammāvāyāma under these 4 headings. There are things that where we have to prevent. There are things that where we have to eliminate. There are things that we have to maintain. There are things that we have to deepen. So the Buddha said to us that when you know that these are the problems, what could you do upfront? You know that these are the problems. These are bad. These are akusala. What could you do at that point? You can prevent. It's like a sickness. Huh? It's always said prevention is better than cure. So you always take steps to prevent, get rid of it before they hit you, before they cause something really unnecessary. So the first thing that we want to bring our effort is to prevent from what? Prevent from unskillful activities, akusalas. You can prevent unskillful activities. Now I have to ask a question from you again, and this is kind of a very frequently asked question. I think you all know, probably I can test it out again. Okay. What are the unskillful activities? How many unskillful activities are there? How many are there? How many akusala activities are there?
There are
5.
10, Bhante.
Huh?
10.
Aliana says 10 and Brother Wu says 5.
5.
Oh, really? See, it is 10. There are 10 unskillful activities. I think Aliana can share again, maybe after the session, if you have time, what they are. Now, there is an effort, or we have to bring in our effort to prevent one of these 10 akusalas to come into existence. Let's say you are somebody who really practice 10 kusala. You are not killing, you are not stealing, you are not misbehaving, you are not, I would say, lying, you are not, slandering, you are not using harshful words, and you are not gossiping, you are not having what you call covetousness, extreme greed, and you are not having ill will, and you are not having wrong will, right? You have right will. So when you already have these 10, let's say you are with bad people, Papa Mitra. You are in a situation where a lot of bad things happen. So you have to make sure that you prevent any attacks coming from these 10, any disturbances coming from these 10. It can happen. Let's say you are such a good person, very wonderful being, very beautiful being, but what happens? You have to work with a situation with other people. They are not that much virtuous. You don't want to tell them that you are not wholesome, but you will need to work with them. So then probably a lot of apasalas coming up, right? It is because of them, not because of you. So you should be able to prevent any impact from those apasalas to focus on. You get what I mean? That is very interesting. Some people blame other people. I remember there was a gentleman who came to meditate a long time ago back in Vancouver, Canada. He's always disturbed by ambulances, the sirens of the ambulances that are actually going through nearby. I was really practicing my meditations. What happened? In that very deep level of my meditation, the sirens went out here, released they ate my meditation. Right? I said, that's actually they're testing you out. Mara, that could be the Mara. They're testing you out. Don't expect that you're in a jungle forest. Nobody disturb you. You could do that. Real meditation has to happen with lots of problems. Other people bothering. You're taking it as an opportunity to practice. Right? So prevention is good. Let's say, regardless of any sirens going on the street, any sounds coming up, you are trying to maintain, I would say definitely here, prevent any bad things happen. Unwholesome things attack or affect you. That's the first one. Second, we call it prevention part. Now, right effort has to go to prevention. That's the first thing. Second, elimination. What is elimination?
Remove it.
Removal. Now, let's say you already have apasalas. Let's say you are an angry person, you wanna criticize somebody, you are gossiping, you have bad words, you are somebody to take other people's stuff that are not given to you, so and so forth. So then you have to work a lot, right? You have to bring effort here to remove most of them, maybe as much as you could, from your life. So that is called removal, right? Removal. So you bring in effort to remove your existing 10 apasalas. First one, you bring in effort to prevent apasalas coming to you. Make sense? You prevent first, and then here, if you already have, you're gonna use effort to remove the existing things. To me, it's like a garden work. Let's say you have a garden. Then the first two look to me as weeding side. Would you like to have some weeds in your garden? Never, huh? Those unnecessary, troublesome, killing, weeds. You want to get rid of them, definitely. So think about your unwholesome things. What you would do with them is like you're gonna get rid of them. You think that they are weeds. So you're gonna get rid of them. Let's say you won't have weeds at the moment, so you're gonna you're gonna do things, appropriate work, so that you won't have weeds in your garden. Second, you already have weeds in your garden. You can actually get rid of them. You're gonna cut them. You're gonna uproot them, put them away. You're gonna add probably some, I would say, fertilizer. Yeah. So you would do all these things, right? So the first two to me in this right effort work about prevention and removal, They look to me like, what would you do when it comes to the troublesome, bothering work in a garden? All right. And the second two, they are about kusala side. As I said to you, maintaining and deepening. What is maintaining? That means you already have good qualities, I would say, one of the 10 kusalas, probably more than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 kusalas. What would you do? Would you have to maintain them, or would you have to just do them? You would have to maintain the existing kusala activities. Why is it? If you do not maintain, you will
lose it.
expire in that practice, in those virtues, or you would fail, you would get stagnated in those practices. How would it happen? Let's say you are someone who is offering dana every month. Now you miss out on dana for 4, 5 months. Then now laziness comes to you. I can't go to the temple, lazy, a lot of work, so you won't do it after that. It's like you have to maintain. One very small example. Let's say you practice meditation. Last couple of days, things are happening in your house, right? And then you would think that, okay, why should I do on the 5th day now? Already 4 days are gone. I would do like this. No meditation for a while anymore. Right? So there are things like that can happen to us. You are already practicing something good. Let's say you were very grateful to someone, nice to somebody. But once in a while, you're getting moody for a reason. Maybe your reason, you created a reason for that. After a week or two, you're not going to be that nice to that person, right? See, you were a good person, so why don't you maintain that? Other people can be different anytime, right? They can go crazy anytime. Just because they can go crazy, we shouldn't go crazy too, right? So maintaining your good part means 10 kusalas. That is very important. Let's say you are not someone who is getting angry very fast. One very simple example. But you have a friend who is getting very grumpy, just at a small argument. Now you've been associating that person for some time, getting along with that person in that way. Then after a month or 2 months, you also getting grumpy because that is what you saw every day, right? With that person. And right? So why do you want to expire in your patient practice? I would say, because we always being asked by the Buddha, slow down to our anger. Anger can come to us, but slow down. Don't speed up. If you slow down, everything is okay. What happens then? Once things happen not in the way that we want, then anger speeds up into us. We take it right away and we react, not respond. All right. Now the third part is, sorry, there are 4 headings, 4 things to do. Third one is about the good side, but what you have to do is you have to maintain what you already have by putting effort onto that. Let's say you already have 10 kusalas in different levels. You're going to maintain, strengthen them. The fourth one is deepening your 10 kusala activity. What is deepening here? Deepening in the sense of, I would say, if you already have 10 kusalas, and also you are maintaining them, then what is the problem? What is left out here? What is not done over here? What is not done, probably maybe you haven't deepened those 10 kusalas in your own ways. Let's say you are somebody who practices non-killing, right? So remember what I told 2 weeks ago, non-killing is not just non-killing, right? Non-killing has to happen from our intention, because people even kill other people by intention. The Buddha said the absence of not killing, absence of not stealing are not enough. You should not kill by your intention also. That is the bedrock. That is the most important part of the karma, right? So deepening means that just because you've been maintaining doesn't mean that you are done with that practice. There's nothing yet to be done. There are a lot of things to do. You have to deepen, you have to invest more. Invest your effort into the deepening, going into deep of those virtues. I would say here 10 kusalas. Can we think of an example? Let's say musavada, right? Let's take that example, musavada. So we are not supposed to tell lies. All right. So every person, they not define, they understand musavada, whatever these virtues or skillful activities in their own ways. Someone might say, as you already said in different ways on that day, there are places we have to lie. There may be white lies, but we have to stay true to us all the time. We have to tell the person who we told that lie later on that this was why I said like. So you are trying to deepen. Am I doing enough work for my musavada practice? Now I would say refrain from musavada practice. Am I doing enough practice for my parusavacha practice? Am I doing enough work for my sampappalapa practice? Panatipata, vadinadana, kamesamichachara, or I would say abhijja, vyapada, micha. So we have to do self-analysis about those 10 aspects. Now, maintaining means you are trying to maintain. You are trying to, do the repairing work for you in terms of those things. But here, while you are maintaining, you are trying to go a little deeper into those 10 kusalas. To me, these two can also come from the garden work. How would you say like that? Let's say, you may water your garden, right? Definitely. And you have to maintain your garden so that weeds will not come up. At the same time, you want to have vegetables and fruits in your garden, right? More vegetables, more fruits, different ones. So you can't get them out of just maintaining, right? Sometimes you want to test out different fertilizer. Sometimes you want to get a piece of advice from a nursery, somebody who knows about the gardening. So you're gonna go after maybe such people. So maintaining is just maintaining your garden. Water, you try to let your garden get more sunlight, those kind of preliminary work. But in order for you to get more vegetables, like very fruitful, productive, and fruits, then you really want some professional advice, maybe some research about it. That part is the deepening. So now you are going to invest your effort in that too. So sammāvāyāma then means work to us. I briefly explain all this, but now we're going to actually go into one by one. The first two is about our akusala side. You are bringing your right effort into work on your akusala side. The first one is prevention. Second one is elimination. You're going to prevent akusalas by putting right effort. You're going to remove the existing akusalas by putting effort. Now we are moving on to the good side, good too. You are bringing right effort to maintain the existing 10 kusalas, and then you are going to bring in your right effort to deepen, go into that practice, bit deeper, right? You need effort to do that. I think some people, they run out of their practices. Definitely, it can happen, because if you go into a secular practice, let's say you want to play piano, guitar, some musical instruments, let's say you practice yoga, you practice any other commonly accepted, generally accepted things, sports, whatever. What will happen to you if you do not try to stay consistent in those activities. Let's say you are somebody who wants to swim, who has been swimming well, but 6-7 months you've not been swimming. And then you might run out of that practice. So the same applies to sammāvāyāma. Even worse than those practices. Let's say you swim, but you can catch up on the practices like that. But when it comes to the spiritual practices, it is harder to catch up on because it is both theoretical side and the practical side. And plus, our akusalas do not look to us as akusalas. They look to us as our nature, right? Our habits, isn't it? Our akusalas are not akusalas to us. Our akusalas are our habits. Now, when somebody points out that to us, say, that's me, what's the problem? Right? Just mind your own business. This is the natural answer to all of those people, right? So we don't look at it from the akusala way, or probably the kusala way. So that's why the Buddha says that we have to bring in effort carefully and effectively and consistently. If you bring in a lot of effort today, but tomorrow you are not having similar effort. Now, as I said to Brother Wu, it's not about just physical effort. It is about the mental effort, because we make karma not by physical work. We make karma at the end by mental side. Karma is not a physical, that is in Hinduism. They say every action is karma. That's the Hindu explanation. But the Buddhist explanation is, no, not every action is karma. Every action that involves with volition or intention, that is going to be a karma. Otherwise, nobody is going to escape this samsara. Right? Nobody will be able to escape this samsara, because every action may create a reaction in science, in physics, but it's not in the Buddhist karma. All right, now let's look at how do we process, how do we do right effort when it comes to akusala side. Now, actually, what is akusala? Akusala means things that we should avoid, prevent, if we already have, like we understand here, to prevent. How do we do that work? How do we understand in our simple life, our daily life, that these are akusalas that are really disturbing me, and what I got to do with akusalas and all that? How do we understand? Where is the work that needs to be done? Let's say if you have a car, if the car has an engine problem, you won't do any repair for your wheels, right? The problem is with the engine. In the same way, here, how do we understand that we are bringing effort into unnecessary, I would say, akusalas? Where should we be careful about? We should be careful about, or we should watch about our
Mind.
Our mind, our intention.
Yeah, mind, definitely. Mind is a very bigger topic, right? Everything happens from this bigger aspect of the mind. It's attached to the sense restraint, our senses, right? Because you can at least point out your senses, but you can't point out your mind. Where's your mind? You can't say mind has no physical place, right? Durangamang ekacharang asarirang. Mind has bodiless nature. The Buddha says in Dhammacakkappavattana. So it is basically our senses. The Buddha says in one sutta, I think in Samyutta Nikaya, that call it Sabba Sutta. Let me type that for you. Kelvin, I will get to it later, okay? Samappadana. Now, Sabba Sutta. Now here in this sutta, Buddha says, I know everything. All right? He says, I know everything. Now the people who didn't understand this thought, all right, but the Buddha meant by Sabba means that he is an omniscient person, like in other religions. right? Like XYZ person knows everything. So and so. Actually, the Buddha said, I know everything means I know the sensory process. Actually, where are we creating our akusalas? In which process are we creating our akusalas? We create akusalas within our sensory process. What is sensory process? Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, then touch of the body, and then the relevant mental parts. Where's the problem? Is it eye? Is it nose? Is it ears? Is it our body? Where's our problem? Where are we creating our akusalas in this process of sensory experience? Is it the sense faculty, or is it the object that comes to us from outside, or is it something else? Where are we creating akusalas in here?
Maybe, Bhante, maybe it's because of our perception. When we see we are not happy, we do some action, wrong actions and all that. Or when we hear something which we are not happy, we react. That's because all our sensory depends on the object which comes to us, no?
That means in our feelings, in our feelings.
That's another way to look at it. Now he said perceptions, you said feeling. Any other answers? What is the process? Can somebody tell me how is the sensory experience happening? How does sensory experience arise and process? What is the way? How the Buddha has explained that to us? The Buddha said, let me just to reduce the time for this. The Buddha said,
First is the contact.
if any sense faculty is impinging on any maybe external objects impinge or work with our internal, I would say, sense faculties, then there will be a
Feelings
there will
arise.
be the arising of
Feeling,
one of the consciousnesses.
consciousness.
These are not just consciousness. These are, what kind of consciousness are they? These are individual sensory consciousnesses. What kind of consciousness happening in our eyes? Can I have a consciousness from the nose, about the nose or the body? No, I only can have eye consciousness. Now, for example, now I see you, I have piece of eyes, and I see you, I take your sight. And then the sight and my piece of eyes, they interact with each other. Then what happens is that there is a particular consciousness arises. This is the problem. This is the initial problem before we go to the perception. Because, so I already have an attention for that. So my piece of eyes are taking whatever the sights. Beautiful or ugly. Okay. Beautiful side, ugly side, whatever. So the Buddha says to us in plain English, not go to a lot of deeper Dhamma. Once any of the sense faculties getting interacted with an external object, be that sight to your eyes, be that sound to your ears,
Yes.
be that smell to your nose, be that taste to your tongue, be that the touch to your body, be that a thought to your mind. What should we do? We have to bring in mindfulness right away. How do we bring mindfulness? Mindfulness has to be always there with us so that we are bringing in effort, right? Effort, sammāvāyāma, not to generate energy towards the akusalas. But what is the common idea about this? So the common idea is that the general idea that people believe is that don't worry, just invest your thoughts, I would say consciousness, in whatever beautiful and ugly things. That is what we are supposed to get interested in, right? That is the common idea in the book. But the Buddha said the opposite. Now you might think, can we do that really? Okay, if you really want the peace of mind, you might have to do it. Because now, don't take it wrong, because you are lay people, you have a lay life. So you want to continue that life. So that's okay, no problem. But if you really want to look at somebody who really wants to find peace, serenity, that person has to use mindfulness to bring in right effort into that consciousness. So that what will happen after that? There is contact, passer, feeling, as you said, Brother Wu, and then the rest of the things like perceptions, all these things will then continue after that. But at the level of the consciousness, if you can bring in right effort through the support of mindfulness, right mindfulness, then you are going to minimize your akusals. This is the way how you can prevent. But normally people say, no, I just want to experience the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful sights, beautiful sound, beautiful, beautiful, and ugly also, ugly stuff too. That is my way. But the Buddha said, if you want to be truly happy, there is another happiness that you can bring into that. That is this equanimity. Go beyond the beautiful, ugly emotional structure. Go beyond these two and find this equanimity. Because we have a very distorted version of the reality. We always think that I only want the beautiful stuff, or I might fall into the ugly stuff, bad stuff, right? So we want to look at the prevention part and the removal part with sammāvāyāma in that context. Any questions so far?
Bhante, how about once a while we contemplate on our actions before we start meditation and all that, and see where did we go wrong, how can we correct it, how can we make it better? That's also a kind of effort.
Definitely. I think this is the groundwork. This is the groundwork. I think that is an excellent way of understanding that you are practicing sammāvāyāma. That's an excellent way. Yes, kind of a review, you know. But I don't know whether we do it. You do it just to cover all these four aspects. Because when we want to practice sammāvāyāma, we have to go into each part: prevention, elimination, maintaining, and deepening these four aspects. I probably think yes, that is what you do. Mm-hmm.
Bhante, the whole thing of prevention, elimination, maintaining, and deepening must be performed at the time the action is anticipated, not after the action is over. For 3 days ago, oh, that day I'm very angry, now I must be good. Not like that, isn't it? You must be stop your anger at the time you are angry.
Yes, very, very true. That's why, Brother Wu, we said, in order to practice each factor, we need 3 supportive factors. What are they? We need samma titti, we need sammāvāyāma, we need sammā-sati. Sammā-vāyāma as a supportive factor is also important to sammā-vāyāma, right? You know, it's like the, how do you call that? It's like a roof, that the roof is actually established on other poles, but you could say that there's roof, and then there are other poles that are supporting for the roof. The both define, both also says that this is also the roof. So that means sammā-vāyāma is also supporting for sammā-vāyāma. Now, as you said, we have to do everything at the same time, because that is why the Buddha says, even you practice sammāvāyāma, you need to know what is sammāvāyāma, what is micchāvāyāma. Micchāvāyāma means that you are not putting enough effort into understanding prevention part, removal part, or I would say removing, and then maintaining and deepening part. Now, then sammāvāyāma, and at the same time, you need sammasati. That means you have to catch up with the particular wrong activity at the same time. Not that things happen, then you are going to think, but actually, let's say you already have a bad quality, akusala, then you are doing your removal part. Then also you can use your sammāvāyāma. So that means it has the both. It has the post side. It has the prior side too. You cannot say sammāvāyāma is something that you only practice before the bad thing. Yes, definitely there is one aspect that we call by prevention. But when it comes to removal part, that means you already, that thing already affected you, right? Then you are doing sammāvāyāma to get it out there. In the same way, towards the kusala side.
What happened, Bhante, I want to ask, when you make the effort not to do it again, but when the situation happens, you want to do it again.
Yeah, because we are falling out of our mindfulness. That is why mindfulness is the vigilant factor. It is the supervisor. All right. So mindfulness is a supervisor. Mindfulness is not something that you do in a temple for a retreat on.
You do every day.
Yeah, it has to be 24/7, 365. Yes, you can go to the temple, you can do as a special event, but true mindfulness is the vigilant factor, that you are vigilant. You are mindful all the time what you do. You are not leaving your car keys inside the car and locking the car and looking for the car key inside your house. You know that you lock the car properly and the keys are with me now. You are mindful about it, right? So you have to start mindfulness from the basic things and then take it to the higher things. So sati is very important because, you know, it is also a supportive factor for sammāvāyāma. So I think as long as you have mindfulness, right mindfulness, there's no problem about the that kind of a question. So it's always going to happen. Are there any examples about different tendencies? Now, a lot of people think that when you provoke your desire, say lobha, raga, you might think it's kind of a passing desire. Maybe when you provoke your dosa, aversion or hatred, you might think it is a passing aversion, anger, angry reason, angry thing. You think it's okay. And also to ignorance factor. Actually, it's not a mere passing cloud in the sky. It's something that we have to think, like whenever we are trying to support our tendencies, our habits will get picked up in the proper way. A lot of people say, I know Dhamma, but I don't know, things don't happen at the right time. Because their habits have not picked up what they understood from whoever. That means we have to form good habits to practice these things very well. Otherwise, we accumulate knowledge, write down, learn, but they are not getting picked up at the right time. Why? They haven't been gone into a level of a habit. That is the biggest issue. Right? But there are some people who already picked up their habits, punctual, right? Diligence, I would say punctuality, and very thoughtful, very mindful at the right thing. You don't need to be mindful for the wrong stuff. Yes, you do, but you know, They are naturally mindful people, right? But they know how to stay consistent. Sometimes when you are too mindful, you can enjoy the 5 pleasures as a layperson. Too mindful, this is beautiful, too beautiful, too ugly, too tasty. I don't want to enjoy it, right? That's going to be a problem to you as a layperson. So even balancing your mindfulness, and you're going to be consistent with that practice. So I think one of the biggest issues that many people having out there, this whole world about Buddhist practice, everybody says Theravada Buddhism is a very good philosophical aspect. But the problem is when it comes to practice, they haven't been able to bring those knowledges, I would say, teaching as a habit. We need to form good habit, especially for the right effort practice. That is how right effort practice is going to work in us. Any examples from the Buddha's lifetime? There were many examples, right? At the time of the Buddha about energy, effort, right? Remember the Dhammacakkappavattana's husband. What was his name? Nanda, who was a relative of the Buddha. He was going to marry this woman, already going to have the wedding, Dhammacakkappavattana. Soon we have another name called Sundari. What happened was that after they both offered dana to the Buddha at the wedding, Nanda took the bowl and then now he was cleaning, rinsing the bowl. But the Buddha did not take it to his hand when Nanda was delivering it to him. So Nanda could not place it in his arms, right? Because of respect, he did not try to do it. Then Dhammacakkappavattana saw that he is kind of going after the Buddha at this point. Maybe he was going to give this back. But she did not say anything. But she kind of hinted to him, come soon because our wedding is going to happen. So he went to the temple with the Buddha. And then the Buddha asked, would you like to become a monk? Now, people might think, what a bad idea is that? He is already at his wedding. Now the Buddha asking, would you like to become a monk? Right? Anyway, this happened for whatever the reason. He said he cannot say no to the Buddha. He said, okay, I would become a monk. And then he was ordained. Then what happened? Then he cannot practice anything because he's thinking about his wife, definitely. Because what is going to happen to her now? I did a big mistake to her, that compassion aspect and everything. Then he was very lazy in his practice because he was not supposed to become a monk at that. Then the Buddha said, now this is a story, I mean, how far is this true or not is a different matter. And Buddha brought him to the heaven. It is said that he brought him to the heaven. And then he said, if you would like to fall in love with a female in the Deva world, you should practice meditation. So he simply practiced meditation to be a part of, to fall in love with the woman over there, right? And then finally he became enlightened and he said, I wouldn't want anybody. So this is a very interesting story about how Lobha helped someone to destroy Lobha or overcome one's Lobha to Lobha. It might not normally work to all the people. So energy factor is a very different factor to many people. So we have to be able to stay consistent in our practice. Right effort has to be consistent, right? Now, Kelvin sent something here on the chat, says sammāvāyāma. Actually, sammāvāyāmas are another teachings about the virya. Actually, the Buddha actually practiced these 4 in order for him to become enlightened, fully enlightened. whatever happens to my body, whether I lose my blood, whether I lose my other things, skeletons, whatever, bones, I would really be. That is kind of a very hard way of thinking to us, but for a fully enlightened Buddha, it is a practice today. But for us, what is more important is simply to bring in energy into effort and then to practice right effort under 4 headings. Okay, other examples, some folks? I would like to know from you, because the most beneficial part is how would you look at it? Not that I would say this and that, right? How would you think that effort can really help you in your practice, in your Dhamma practice? Are there any other very famous Dhamma teachings about laziness, lack of virya, or lack of sammāvāyāma? Aliana, you have a question? So, can you think about any very famous teachings about laziness that can really destroy our peace, our Dhamma practice? How many of you practice Samatha Bhavana over here? Samatha Bhavana? Huh? No, not anymore? Oh, really? So there are 2 main meditations in Buddhism, Samatha Bhavana and Vipassana Bhavana. Calm meditation on calmness and meditation on Vipassana, right? So when it comes to the first one, this is the starting point, Samatha Bhavana. What would you do for Samatha Bhavana?
Samatha.
Yeah, what would you do in the Samatha?
Practice
Develop jhana.
Anapanasati.
Yeah, Anapanasati is one of the exercises for Samatha. But what is the purpose of Samatha? What would happen with Samatha to us?
Peace. Feeling the peace.
Definitely peace, yes.
And then develop jhana, Bhante.
Yeah, jhanas are definitely improvements when you practice Samatha Bhavana. But what is the basic thing that you have to aim with your Samatha Bhavana? When you practice Samatha, what will happen to you is that you are going to overcome 5 hindrances. Pancha Nivarana. Oh, this is the very plain explanation. Kamachanda, Vyapada, Tinamidda, Uddhacca, Vicikiccha. These 5 are the disturbing things to us. You attain jhanas by subsiding these 5. Okay. And you are going to subside, I would say, these 5. I would say you're going to overcome these 5, and you are mounting up another 5. Vitakka, Vichara, Piti, Sukha, Ekaggata, jhana components. Now, what do we have already? We have a lot of, we may have a lot of, what do you call? Kamachanda, Vyapada, Tinamidda, Uddhacca, Vicikiccha. So we're going to replace them with Vitakka, Vichara, Piti, Sukha, Ekaggata. They are part of the different jhanas. Now, for some of you might not understand what did I say. What is Kamachanda? Okay, let me explain to you. Now, if you are a beginner, let's say you want to go for a meditation retreat, right? That's a good effort if you want to do it. One day, if you could. If you don't go to a meditation retreat, it is also okay, right? Because meditation is meditation. But the most important thing is cultivation of your mind. You could go to a temple or retreat or maybe at home. The most important thing is to understand how to start our meditation and how does effort work in that process. The first thing the Buddha says is that we have to get rid of kama chanda, sense desire, excessive sense desire. We need sense desire just to spend our time. But when it comes to excessive sense desires, I would say sensual desires, that can really disturb us, right? And then what about Vyapada? Vyapada means ill will, thoughts of killing someone, thoughts of destroying other people. You are not tolerating when other people are succeeding. That's a big problem, right? Always try to think, I don't need to compare myself to others. while I respect, while I acknowledge, and I make my own way in my life. If I want to have somebody's happiness, I will work through it, but not just because that person attained that point of success. So you are minimizing ill will. With samatha bhavana, you can take anapanasati or whatever exercises. What you are doing is you are going to overcome kamachanda to a certain extent, vyapada to a certain extent. Then tina midda,
Restlessness.
they are related to energy. Interestingly, that's what I wanted to say. Tina and midda. How do you explain tina and midda? What is tina? What is midda?
Sloth and torpor.
Sloth and torpor. When you say sloth, there is an animal, a mammal,
Yes.
very slow animal, like koala, very slow reactions. One of the animals who got really disturbed in the Australian wildfire a couple of years back. Sloth. Sloth can be an inactive form, like very lazy, lethargic, no stamina. And torpor is also something similar to that. Some people say it is the laziness in your mind and laziness in your body, whatever these two. Tina and midda. Actually, this is the biggest issue, that why we are not continuing our Dhamma practice in our own life in a proper way. We know that this is true, but we are not able to practice because we are not putting enough investment into that with energy. Then uddhacha kukkucha. Fourth one, uddhacha kukkucha means restlessness in your mind. Kukkucha means you have a lot of regrets. And vichikiccha means what you call
doubt.
Doubts, different
Doubt.
doubts, especially about spiritual stuff. So now folks, what would you do in the samatha bhavana? You're going to overcome these 5 as much as you can. When you're going to overcome these 5, your mind is focused on different jhana factors, then you are attaining jhana. That's what it says. But basically speaking, you can see that virya or vayama here, sammāvāyāma, is very important, because without enough adequate amount of effort, you are not going to practice anything at all. Not even meditation, but also your other practices at home. Say, for instance, as I said earlier, you are someone who is not a jealous person, right? You are having very less jealousy. You are very less jealous person about other people, about your friend circle, other people. But recently you've been in touch with somebody who is always talking things about other people and being jealous. And over time, you're going to be a victim of that person's those virtues, bad virtues, right? And then you simply forget about your practice because you don't think this is bad, because it has been really impacted you over time, right? The opposite also can happen. Since recently you've been in touch with a very good Kalyana Mitra, not pressuring you, not pushing you to Dhamma. We don't have to be pushed, but telling, feel free to practice or not. Having a very mediocre, very liberal way of telling me whatever, right? And then you are encouraged, you are self-encouraged by these people. And you are maintaining your kusala practices, you are deepening your kusala practices. That's a very good coincidence to you if that happens to you. Right? So be careful. I think associations of good people, bad people really impact our effort. On the other hand, your other areas of life, maybe family, maybe workplace, they all can matter at different times for effort. If you really want to keep your right effort for prevention of akusalas, for elimination of akusalas, for maintaining of your existing kusalas, for deepening your existing kusalas, maybe non-existing kusalas, then definitely you need to bring in sammāvāyāma for these four. The first one, as you said, prevention, actually those akusalas you don't have already. We call them, you are bringing right effort to the, I would say, non-arisal of the, the arisal of, I would say, arising of the non-existing akusalas. You don't have those akusalas at that point. So you are bringing effort not to have those akusalas you don't already have. Second one, removal means you already have. So you're going to bring effort to remove them. And maintaining kusalas means that you already have those good kusalas, you're going to maintain. When you say deepening, you may not have those kusalas already, but you are trying to deepen, invest, so you would find more good kusalas. One of those 10, maybe the rest of the 10. All right, now, so when somebody asks you, what is sammāvāyāma, what would be your answer to that person? You might say sammāvāyāma is a complex practice. Huh? You wouldn't know. It's like a garden. It's like what you have to do is like garden work. How would you answer to that person? You would answer to that person, saying sammāvāyāma is a practice of 4 things. You won't be able to practice sammāvāyāma without the previous factors. You should have sammāditthi, saṅkappa, vāca, kammanta, ājīva, right? They all are mutually supportive, right? And then you're trying to do 2 things for 4 factors, 4 subheadings: prevention of non-existing akusalas, and then removal of the existing akusalas, maintaining of the existing kusalas, and then deepening of the non-existing kusala, maybe existing kusala too. This is how we look at it. All right, any questions about sammāvāyāma today? It is said that we have a misinformation factory within us. So we feed it all the time because we take the truth, reality differently. We always perceive a distorted version of the reality. That is why we are not able to practice vipassana, right? Vipassana means seeing things as they are. But what is often happening is seeing things as we are. So that means it's a distorted version of the reality. That is where we're going to create, we're going to feed the misinformation factory. So we always have a misinformation factory. Beautiful, ugly. Beautiful, ugly. This is what we feed all the time. We don't think that there is a third option. Third option is equanimity, upekkha. This is very interesting because that is actually an everlasting happiness. It doesn't mean that you should not have beautiful, ugly, this common attitude, but we have to always think that the real true happiness lies at that level, not before. All right, any questions about where's something I got here? 1 point, yeah, that is ekaggata, one of the jhana factors. We did not go too much into that. Probably we can go about the jhanas samadhi, under samma samadhi. Next week, we have a very interesting topic, samma sati, right mindfulness, such a very, one of the very popular topics we're going to be discussing next Friday. So we are doing the groundwork today for samma sati. Now, when you have right effort, what will happen to you? Now you have properly understood what should I do? Prevention, elimination, maintaining, and deepening. Now I can get into my mindfulness. Do you think most of the people who practice mindfulness are very aware about these 4? I mean, pretty much sammāvāyāma. That is the issue. We're not blaming anybody. We want to help everybody with whatever we know, because sati should come from the supportive factors that are actually before samma sati. Because mindfulness practice is a westernized practice already. It's a Western practice. People do not think about sila, right? Most of the people who practice mindfulness don't care about the sila. Some people do. And because it has been a non-sectarian practice, they think that they want to actually go by the sila. But sila is very important, because without sila, you won't be able to practice in meditation. Why? Let's say you do a bad thing today, akusala. You sit down, you try to meditate. Can you meditate properly? I lied to my sister-in-law today. I won't be able to focus my mind. It's just as that you made an argument with somebody and you're going to sleep. You can't sleep that night mostly. You're thinking about it. This happened. I can't sleep today. Why? This happened. Maybe you had an argument with your husband, your wife, right? Children. It's all. If it is too heavy, the level that conversation went up, it's the same thing. Sila is like how you maintain your lifestyle, you know. So sila is very important. But if you just think that you focus whatever happening now, that is not right mindfulness. That could be mindfulness. Actually, it could be wrong mindfulness. It could be wrong concentration too, because right, wrong basically come from being moral. Now, say for instance, there is a student who is studying very hard all day, night, working on the books, and that person will pass the examination. Do you think that person has samma sati? No, she had a purpose for that, being hard on the books. It might be ekaggata. The Buddha says anybody who wants to practice meditation or concentration, just to feel happiness, just to feel bliss through jhanas only, first, second, third, fourth, and even going beyond immaterial jhanas, that is bliss. It is not samma samadhi. So let's leave that conversation for samma samadhi. But today we said sammāvāyāma is very important because it's the energy factor. You're going to bring in your energy to apply into the right thing that is on the four sides of the sammāvāyāma. Prevention part about the non-existing akusalas, and removal part of the existing akusalas, and the maintaining of the existing kusalas, and you're going to bring effort into that, and you're going to deepen into non-existing kusalas or existing kusalas, so that now your practice is well energized. You have enough stamina, you have enough courage, enough enthusiasm. Now you know you are now going deeper after that. Sati samadhi, right? That is how it works. All right, so we will take another 1 minute for any question. If not, we're going to transfer the good karmas to the departed people. And
Bhante, I would like to add that practice of the Brahma Vihara is also very helpful. I find in practicing prevention of 10 akusala.
yeah, definitely.
Especially the metta.
Yeah. Actually, there is a big problem in the text work, especially some Dhamma books. Now, because of the, I would say, deputization or breaking down of different topics, people might not understand the synthetical nature, the connected nature of between each concept. Now, Brahma Vihara should be our way of living. It is the highest way of living. If you want to live high, you should definitely practice 4 Brahma Viharas. First, metta. You should have friendliness all the time to you and to other people. Then you should also have karuna, compassion. The working nature, functional nature is kindness. When you say you are compassionate, then you're going to be kind to somebody. And then the third is should be having mudita. Mudita means
joy for others' success.
Yeah, yes. So I would say altruistic joy, unselfish joy. So normally we are very happy when things happen to our good people, right? People we know, but we should be able to be happy when other people succeed. Mudita. And then upekka. This is the highest virtue in Buddhism. Highest virtue. Equanimity. Even in jhanas, even in the practice of 7 bojjhangas, uh, in all these practices, upekka is the highest virtue. Upekka means the highest version of our happiness. It supersedes, it goes beyond beautiful, ugly states of mind. Our emotional structure is actually going into a very high level when we have upekka. So if we can mount up our life onto these 4, I always have metta. I talk to other people with metta. I look at myself with metta. I look at other people. I attend to things with metta. I drive with metta, right? And I have karuna to me, to others. I have mudita to me, and also I'm concerned about others in the proper way. And I have equanimity, and not that I only stay with joy and then the things. Definitely that life is so high. So as
Bhante,
you said, if you maintain these 4, it is very easy for you to form good habits so that you can keep the right effort. Because your mentality is very good because you are, how do I connect that? When you can, continue the practice of the 4 Brahma Viharas, then you are less likely to make akusalas. That is a supportive. That means when you are not making akusalas, your right effort practice is going to be an easy one, right? Rather than that
Bhante,
you're trying to do it abruptly. Okay, now I want to do right effort. Yeah, Brother Wu?
Bhante, is it true the Brahma Vihara, all of us can try to practice, but Putujanas cannot attain Brahma Vihara? Is it true? Only those Ariyas, they only have Brahma Vihara.
No, not exactly. The Buddha said actually,
All the Putujana can try to practice Brahma Vihara.
anybody can practice Brahma Viharas, but the level of
Yeah.
the practice could be different from everybody. It is a very
Yes,
practical thing. Let's say this can be practiced even by a non-Buddhist, right? We don't need to separate this. You can separate the Attakilamattana Yoga and Kamasukallika Yoga between monks and lay people. But Brahma Viharas are common to lay people and
all
monks. All of
common.
them. Yes, because yeah, do not overthink about Putajjana concept. Like we are Putajjana, we can't do anything. We are the people who are going to be Arya, noble, definitely, at any point, right? So we should appreciate us that we, like the Mahayana people think, you are Bodhisattva, so I should not be bad to you. I like that idea, You can be a Sammasambuddha, who knows? Not saying that you still Putajjana, I'm Arya, maybe they are Arya. We're creating some tension between these 2 people, right? So there's no saying as such that we all can practice Brahma Viharas in our own ways. But at the same time, we should understand we may come to different levels depending on our personality, association, and all. All right?
Okay, Bhante.
Okay, so let's then wrap this up by sharing good karmas here. Let's transfer all the good karmas to the departed people who passed away in the name of all of us in this life or in past lives. If the departed people that passed away in the name of all of you were already reborn in a place of pain, karma dukkhatis, naraka Ti-Ratana Asura, may they be able to receive all these good karmas and to be reborn in a place of comfort, preferably the human world, where they can practice Dhamma. If they are already in a comfortable, happy life like the human world, may they be able to practice Dhamma and then finally attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu. Sadhu. Idang me nyati nang hontu Sukhita huntu nyatayo. Idammi nyati nang huntu. Sukhita huntu nyatayo. Idammi nyati nang huntu. Sukhita huntu nyatayo. Also, may all the good karmas be shared by all the devas, nagas, medics, in short, non-humans. May they be well and happy. May they protect and bless all of you. Everybody who joined today, others who could not join for their other reasons, and the reverend monks and everybody in your temple, in this whole human world, may all they be protected by Deva, Naga, Mahitika. See, this is a part of Metta too, right? So may the Deva, Naga, Mahitika protect and bless them for good health, quality of life, prosperity, safety, and for all the good reasons. Finally, may Deva, Naga, Mahitika also attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu. Ittavatacha ammehi samvatang punya sampadam sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavatacha ammehi samvatang punya sampadam sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavatacha ammehi samvatang punya sampadam sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Akasattha bhummattha devanaga mahitika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu lokasasanam. Akasattha bhummattha devanaga mahitika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu desanam. Akasattha bhummattha devanaga mahitika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu mam paranti chirang rakkhantu tvam sadati. Also, let's make a wish. May we be in the company of the Kalyana Mittas till we attain the Nibbana, not in the path. Because we do understand the impact of Kalyana Mittas on our path is very precious, and we can easily continue our path to Nibbana. Thinking thus, we're going to recite steps. Imina punya kammena mami bala samagamu satang samagamu yava nibbana pantiyam. Finally, may all the good karmas which you've been accumulating in all these ways, we support you and help you, for all of us, to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Abhivadana siris nichang vadha pachayinu chataru dhamma vadanti ayuvanno sukhang balang ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti mevacha ato nibbana sampatti iminate saminchati. Sadhu, sadhu. And I wish you a pleasant good night.
Good
And
night,
we will see you
Bhante.
then next Friday.
Good night, brothers
Good
and
night, Bhante.
sisters.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much, Bhante.
Bhante.
Thank you.
Sadhu, sadhu.
Good night, brothers.
Yeah.
Still record.
Yes.
Bhante, you are the host, Bhante.
Oh, I'm the host. Okay.
No more.